Okay guys, I want to give you a quick update on what's going on with the engine. I put the halves together. Now what I did is I used a quality gasket. I used a Honda OEM gasket. It's a lot better than these paper ones. And before I put the cases together, I cleaned my cases with acetone. That's why I bought the acetone. And I used, where the hell is that? Hold on a second, let me pause you guys. Okay. I used that on both sides of the gasket. So, in other words, what I did was I cleaned my cases before I put this together. I put a bead of that down against my case. I put my gasket on, and then I put another bead on this side of the case. You know, naturally, you don't see any there because I cleaned it off. Now, there's 3 bolts that go on the inside of this. So you can see one of them in there. Those go on first. Those are torqued down at, there's 3 inner ones, 3 inner case bolts. They get torqued down at 140 inch-pounds. And then there's the outer bolts. They also get torqued down at 140 inch-pounds. I have my shifting mechanisms are all on. Everything's bolted down. I used thread locker on all my case bolts. I used thread locker on this bolt. These I didn't use thread locker on, but the 3 bolts of bolt you're pumping, I used thread locker on them. So you guys get to see the internal mechanisms on your shifter drum. I believe this is called the shifter dog. Now the next thing we're going to put in will be the clutch. And then we can slide our cylinders on. I'm going to do a video how I compress the rings. I use 2 big band clamps to compress the rings, and then what I'll do is I'll lube the inside of the cylinders up with oil, and it slides right over. Then you take your rings off, and we'll do the same thing with the head. I think I actually have 2 sets of head gaskets, but I'll use this one here. This came with the cylinder head, and we'll do the same thing. I'll clean this with acetone. We'll put a bead of our gasket maker on the top and bottom of the gasket, because I don't want this leaking, man. I don't want it leaking whatsoever. Once I put this together, I want to be done with it. You know, then after we get the engine together, we're going to spray paint everything with I bought this spray paint here. This is anodized high temperature sealant, or not sealant. It's high temperature silver. And I believe this is a base coat, but I'm going to see what this comes out like. And it's anodized, so it should look like a metallic color. That's what we'll spray paint. The outsides, the cases, the top, everything's going to be spray painted the same color. So that's the next thing we'll do, guys. I'll go to the store tomorrow, get 2 band clamps. Then I'll do a video on how I put the cylinder head on.